Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion today here in the woods. And it's raining, and I actually knew that when I left the house. It's not like pouring, but I knew in the woods it wouldn't be that much, but it is so incredibly peaceful because obviously you have the canopy thing, you know. It's so incredible. I mean, it's already raining every day, and it's just the light rain is just, I can't even describe it in words. Anyway, okay. So my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm here to have a discussion with you today. I'm just so excited. And also I'm on the first bridge with the pretty rocks. If I can show all of you, it's just so beautiful. Okay, anyway. So what I wanted to talk to you today about, or with you today about, is fear and taking a vacay from it for a day. So here's the right out of the gate, right? It's the 12-step programs have some really good one-liners, and one of those is one day at a time, and that is brilliant. Whether you're in recovery or you're not, I personally believe we're all in recovery from something. You know, even if it's not an addicted household, it's, you know, we're all in recovery because why? We're all healing, and by the time I'm a fabulous 57, by the time we reach, you know, midlife for sure, but even way before that, we've been through stuff, right? Stuff happens, life happens. That's how we grow and change and learn how to love ourselves and other people better. You know, adversity obviously makes us stronger. So we're all in recovery. So there you go. So one day at a time. And most of us, no matter how tragic, how bad the thing is, with support, can somehow get through one day. And sometimes what I do is when things are, I'm sorry, such an itch on it right there. Okay, there we go. Sometimes if things are incredibly challenging, which thankfully doesn't happen that often when it was something like huge and big, again, more the exception thankfully than the rule, then we can start our day over at any time too. You can be, you know, third of the way through, half, and start over, and then start the one day at a time or the half day at a time or whatever. Okay, so that's the first thing, is to really stay with that. If you're having a fear-filled day, remember that thoughts come first and feelings come second, and actions or behavior third, right? So also, if we're feeling fearful, that's because we've got some big dialogue going on in the cabeza that's, you know, rapid firing, fearful, fear-based thoughts. And then, of course, the brain likes patterns. So once it just keeps reinforcing. So we're going to get to this in a second about what to do. So what we're talking about with fear is an emotion, right? It can be a gut-wrenching emotion, and it can manifest in people in different ways. For me, it tends to be in the, like, I would say the stomach area, even more than the chest area, maybe a little bit of both, I guess. But we all know it's really, really not pleasant. And obviously it has its advantages, because there are certain times where it's good to be afraid. You know, you're approaching the edge of a cliff, you really weren't paying attention, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, that's good. The rest of the time, it's often created. We create it because we know the emotion well, and we can jump straight to that by the scenarios we create in our minds. And even when something isn't seemingly as bad as we're making it out to be. And that's because fear is very primal, right? It's meant to keep us surviving and thriving, mostly surviving. So way back when, you know, dinosaurs were roaming the earth, and, you know, our ancestors were ducking into caves to watch out for saber-toothed tigers and things like that, that was enormously helpful to be afraid. Now, we get a little FOMO, we're left out of something that's going on, maybe, you know, holiday party, we're left out of a friend's thing, maybe even if it's on accident. Now, thanks to social media, we're all too aware of all this. Where back in the day, you may not even have known you missed a party, and if you don't know about it, you obviously can't be all fearful about being left out of other things, and if you lost your friends, and if they like you, and fear, right? And now it's right up front and central, and, you know, it makes things enormously personal, you know, most days probably, right? So there's the social media things, this whole manifestation. So when we have these fear-based thoughts, they because the body and mind are so intimately connected, we then manifest it. Again, usually head area, chest area, and tummy area, usually. And others can break out in rashes and do all sorts of things. It just sort of depends on your own, you know, your own mind-body connection. So what I am posing here, because sometimes when people say, Oh, my anxiety, my fear, because anxiety is really largely rooted in fear, right? That's what it's about. So, rather than do that, I really have to be less anxious. I really have to, have less fear in my life. That sounds so big and huge, like Mount Everest. It sounds just huge. Be less fearful forever. Okay, that's a lot to take on. Whereas if we can decide to take today, this day, to be free of fear, just to be free of fear. Choose it. Okay, so here's the thing. Here are the two biggies to have a day free of fear. Fear-free day, one day at a time. Okay, is to first of all be grateful. And we're not talking about, we're not being cheesy here. We're talking about neurologically speaking. Neurologically speaking, when we are grateful, really, truly grateful, we cannot be in fear. We cannot be in a place of fear because the brain can only do one thing at a time. Despite when people say, oh, I'm such a good multitasker. No, you're really not. Because the brain, neurologically speaking, can do exactly one thing at a time. That's it. So what looks like multitasking is really just a quick shift of attention. So if we are residing in a place of gratitude, there is no fear and anxiety. It cannot happen. So just think about that. If you can really be in a grateful place for 60 seconds, if that's too much, and I'm not making light joke about that because in today's, media saturated world, our attention spans bandwidth have shrunk enormously. So if you can be grateful for 30 seconds, good. Okay, that's better than no seconds, right? So give yourself a pat on the back. I mean, really immerse in it. Try to go someplace quiet, if possible, even if you have to duck into a bathroom stall. I realize I'm fortunate enough to have this woods right out my door almost. But not that isn't true for everyone. There's Central Park, which is also beautiful. I'm thinking of New York and the big, whatever other big city's version of that is. Or just duck into someplace where it's quiet and close the door. And if all you've got because you're at work is the restroom, do that. Just do that and just, I'm grateful for, I'm really feeling it. It's a start to say it, but it's not enough. You got to really reside there. And what I also do, let's just say you're driving. Also not ideal. It's better to be someplace where you don't have to focus on other things. However, we also need to adjust and adapt to what our life circumstances are. So I also do this on the way. I have quite a commute. It's about an hour and 7 minutes for me to get to the wonderful Champlain College campus where I love it there. And so sometimes if I'm having a day where or sometimes I'm just saying it because I'm grateful. And this is in addition to my gratitude journal. This is just extra stuff. If I'm having a busy monkey mind day that's loaded with fear-based thoughts or just fast mind, I will start to say things out loud. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I just keep doing it. Grateful that it's raining. Grateful that it's not raining. Grateful that I remember to bring my thermos of hot tea in the Jeep with me because I don't remember that all the time. Grateful I have my water bottle with me. Grateful I have such a beautiful commute because I could be in, no offense to Newark, New Jersey or anything because there's probably lots of good stuff going on there. But I have the mountains to look at on my way into work, and I don't even call it work really. On my way into Champlain, and the beautiful leaves turning in the fall and the snow in the winter and all that stuff. I'm grateful for my health, all the big stuff, my eyesight. My youngest brother-in-law can't see. And whenever I do that gratitude, I kind of throw out a good vibe prayer for my youngest brother-in-law, Brendan, because that isn't his day. His day is he can't see. Okay, spine working. Just keep it rolling. And when we keep, and the friends and family, and from big stuff to small stuff back to big stuff, medium stuff, just let your brain just thank you. All the way through. And then you can at the very least, a temporary break from your fear. Okay, now here's the next one. Gratitude, reside in gratitude. The next one to have a vacay from fear is to be intentional. And I cannot say enough about this. And so we kind of deactivate the amygdala, part of the limbic system, with conscious thought. I believe it's when we stimulate the cingulate. I gotta make sure that's right. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The part that's important is the deactivation of the fight or flight. That's what we're talking about. So when we engage in conscious thought, conscious anything, it takes us out of that spin in the limbic system of that fear. So think of anything that takes work for you. Like if you're used to doing Sudokus, Sudokus, however you say that, tomato, tomato, that isn't going to work as much. Saying the president's backwards might help, okay, if you're having a real fearful minute. Also counting back from 1,000 by sevens. Try that for a while, and then the brain will catch on pretty quickly. And okay, that's a small thing. That's like an immediate, in the moment, literally in the moment thing, which can help a lot if you're having a real fearful thing going on in that minute. And then big intentions, as far as be intentional with your whole day, what you decide to do next. If you're having a fearful day, it's probably not good to just be in a situation that just allows you to think too much. So go figure out something to do that's maybe productive. That's maybe productive and get you, might be a great time to organize a closet, a great time to clean out your desk at work. Something that takes planning and moving around. Also engage with people. Definitely go do something for somebody. That's right up there at the top of the list. Get out of your head and go do something for somebody. So be intentional with every move, okay? So, recap. In order to take a break from fear, one day at a time, or half day at a time, or an hour at a time, if that's what your day is like. Reside in gratitude and be intentional. All right. Have a mindful, fear-free day. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Northern Vermont with little G.